Grandmother doesn't play at all. When it's time to take the shot, she will take the freaking shot. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and this is Once and Future, the story about stories. And we pick up where we left off in the last issue, with Granny about to take this poor kid's head off. For those of you who are confused, check out my Once and Future playlist in the description below. Back to our story. Rose was waiting for them outside the building, wielding a freaking candle. As Granny explained, that candle will be the only means for them to find their way out. But right now, it was at risk because of the cops that came through, telling her to turn off the candle, and what was she doing here? But inside this building, inside the magical world that resided in this building, Arthur, the new Demon King, was knighting his new Galahad right now. And Granny knew she had to take the shot because he was not allowed to be knighted. But sadly, his mother was in the way of the shot, so she didn't take it, and he was knighted. And his task was simple: find the Holy Grail. Holy Grail was an enchanted item that would bring magic back into this world. And that was a bad thing because magic comes with monsters. But it is quite clear that most of Arthur's soldiers do not trust this Galahad. But his mother made it clear that he is Galahad through and through, raised to believe he was Galahad. And the story only looks for one string to connect. Once you act and call yourself Galahad, you are the Galahad of destiny, whose sole purpose was to find the Holy Grail. And Granny wasn't having that. She was about to kill this kid. With one shot, she took it. Blam. But Duncan was good. He was never going to let her kill this innocent child. And because of this, the Demon King finally noticed their presence, and he was tired of their interference. So he ordered them to be killed. So they had to run for their life. Thankfully, the candle was still lit, because passing this threshold without it would have been impossible. And when they busted out, they got stopped by the cops, seeing them carrying weaponry. Granny tried to tell Rose to snuff the candle because she knew what was to come, but the cops wouldn't let any of them move, which was their mistake, because what followed was death. One of the zombie demon knights had approached out of the portal, and the first thing he did was take the cop's head off and plunge his sword into the second one. Duncan could do nothing but stare in horror as they died. Then Rose finally got the hint and decided to snuff the candle, which was good because she was about to die. And now, when the demon was gone, they were left with two corpses of police officers. They had to get the hell out of here, or else they would be blamed for this death. So they left, and Granny was pissed off because she had the shot. She could have ended everything tonight. But most of all, she was impressed with Rose. She kept her cool. So, she was officially part of the family. Granny asked her to make a call because in one of the files she found, there was a number of someone that could clean up bodies, and they needed that person right now. But Rose didn't want to be no secretary. She was better than that. And Granny made her understand that you're not a secretary. You just hand us our missions. You're the boss. But the current mission wasn't over. Granny told Duncan to park here, and he did. And she let him know that you should get ready, because there is a lot of death to follow. She broke it down that Galahad will need a kingfisher to open a portal to where he could get the Holy Grail, and the only kingfisher alive was shot in the prick. Odd thing to mention, but to come into play later. They also wanted an explanation as to why people are creating Galahad. Galahad was the son of Lancelot, and currently they all know Lancelot is dead. But in this world, like I said before, the second you believe you are a person, and your story is one of heroics and honor, you will be Lancelot. You will be Galahad. Especially if your name is named Galahad or Lancelot. Granny had brought them to a place none of them recognized because this was Kingfisher's home. Rose found it very suspicious that she knew Kingfisher's home, but before she could make her opinions known, the realm started to change. A sign that magic was coming. They had to hurry and stop Kingfisher before he can help Galahad find the Holy Grail. There was no time to knock, so Duncan just broke down the door with one kick. Even Rose was shocked. His grandmother just said, yeah, that's why I didn't allow him play video games. I let him play outside. Now he is strong. Duncan wasn't listening though, calling out to Kingfisher, please come out. We don't want to hurt you. We just want to talk. But Kingfisher answered back, never. Not as long as Granny is with you. She's a psychopath. She will shoot me on sight. And he was absolutely right, because she didn't even see him. She just started shooting through the walls. She was that lethal. Duncan hasn't realized it yet, but his grandmother was a monster hunter, and she was the best. She has never failed a mission, and she wasn't starting today. But before she could kill Kingfisher, he came. Galahad came, this time escorted by a zombie knight. Rose had just seen this monster kill 2 cops without blinking. She knew she had to run, but Granny wanted to fight. But Duncan was not going to let his Granny fight. Grabbing onto her, he climbed the steps so fast, but that didn't stop Granny. She kept shooting. The knight was there to protect Galahad. His mission was the Grail, and he went straight for Kingfisher, who let him in to the kingdom of magic, where the Holy Grail was resting, waiting for the person who was going to come and collect it to collect it. Galahad, the hero of legend. Even his mere presence in that kingdom could be felt by everyone outside. This was a call to destiny, and his grandmother had felt it before. He has entered the kingdom, and now someone had to go after him. But it could not be the grandmother, and it could not be Rose. It had to be Duncan. Duncan was confused. Why me? But Rose was smart. She figured it out. The person who shot Kingfisher was you, wasn't it, grandmother? Even Kingfisher was waiting for them, because we discover Kingfisher was her ex-husband. He's a hunter just like her, and in a world where there are no monsters, he felt obsolete. So he joined their cult to unleash the Grail and bring back monsters so they can have a purpose. Looking at Duncan, he said, you know she's been lying to you. What is your middle name? And Duncan simply replied, Percy. Yes, Percival/Perseus. One name for 2 great heroes. She has been training you since you were a child to be her champion. You are a part of this. But he was never going to let her. He is the Kingfisher. They need him to open the portal. But if he's gone, they cannot access it. So he simply offed himself. And his grand just said, I told you, this is why I never brought you into this world. You are so good and innocent, Duncan. But your family isn't.